Over the weekend, the NFL and the league's Players Association reached an agreement on new concussion protocols after Miami Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa suffered an apparent head injury in back-to-back games. The new protocols were triggered during the Dolphins game on Sunday with the New York Jets when the backup quarterback, Teddy Bridgewater, starting in place of the injured Tagovailoa, suffered a blow to the head himself on the game's first snap. Bridgewater was evaluated for injuries to both his head and his elbow. He did not return to the game. So what exactly is the NFL's new concussion protocol, and will the league have more success preventing traumatic brain injuries because of it? Here to weigh in is Dr. Chad Demang, an interventional neurologist and pain management specialist, also Sports Illustrated's Mike McDaniel. And Dr. Demang, we're going to start with you first. This new protocol involves adding the word ataxia. It's A-T-A-X-I-A, and I spell it out because most Americans have never heard that word. So please explain what it is and how it changes what the protocols are.
Yeah, I mean, I'm an NFL fan that's a neurologist, and I speak concussion very well, and I don't understand what this new protocol is. Let's just make it very simple. If somebody has a knee injury, we all know they do an MRI, they post it on ESPN to say ACL, MCL, they say they're going to be out for this many days, this many weeks. Why can't concussion be the same thing? So what I'm saying as a neurologist, there are analytical tests that can be done. DTI MRI that looks for axonal shearing of the brain. Vestibularography, what looks for abnormal eye movements. It's like a VR set that monitors your eye movements. And EEG, which looks at the electrical potentials of the brain. So what I'm saying, when you do these studies before and after every concussion, you can see if a player is going from 2 abnormal eye movements to 4, 2 axonal injuries to 6, high level cortical activity to slow level. So these are analytical tests instead of, did he look like he falls, which is ataxia, which is a vestibular issue? Did he know the month? Did he know the year? The human element of concussions is what's driving all this discussion. And again, when you look at knees, ankle, elbows, it's such a black and white analytical test. Why is the NFL not providing this type of information so experts like myself can look at this data and give the viewers a real understanding of what's going on?
Well, I want to put that question back to you, though. Isn't it much tougher when you're examining the brain, or it's subjective of whether or not the player is understanding his surroundings, is fully able to move? Isn't that a lot harder to determine than whether or not a ligament is torn or a bone is broken?
Well, you're correct. It is a subjective component, but what I'm saying is this is 2022. This is 1980. There are technological advancements, which not as black and white as an MRI with the knee, ankle, elbow, but there are technological advances that exist in most major cities that can be done routinely before and after. So, again, look at 2 after head injury. We can monitor analytically the number of bad outcomes on brain function so we can see a trend, so we can eliminate this human element. So you're right, it's not as black and white as an MRI or a knee, ankle, elbow, but the technology is much better than what we're being presented with right now at the NFL.
All right, this is going to get slightly confusing, but Mike McDaniel is the writer for the Sports Illustrated. Mike McDaniel is also the name of the head coach for the Dolphins. So, Mike, I'm going to ask you specifically what happened with Teddy Bridgewater Sunday against the Jets, and then, what did Coach McDaniel say afterward about how the concussion protocols went into play and how they made their decision to eventually remove him from the game?
Yeah, well, Teddy, from the first snap of scrimmage, Teddy Bridgewater hit his head on the ground, right? It was pretty clear and obvious when he took that hit after releasing the first throw of the game that his head kind of bounced off the turf. Now, what Mike McDaniel said after the game is that in Bridgewater's case, the reason why he was removed was a result of the league's new concussion protocol. So that's a step in the right direction. If you look at kind of how things were handled with Tua, 2 Sundays ago against the Bills, and then, last Thursday against the Bengals, he probably shouldn't have been out there 3 days after getting up woozy against the Bills. It was pretty obvious that he was not really all there. He got up from, taking a big hit. And then we saw that fencing response, against the Bengals, where he took a really hard hit, was driven into the turf, and then reacted the way that he did, which is a sign of a neurological injury. So, I think there's, when you look at the NFL and their deal with Thursday night football and the fact that the league has elected to play games 3 days after a game has been played on Sunday, that's all about revenue, right? That's not about player safety. The NFL loves to talk about player safety, which I think they do care about, but only to a degree, right? I think that, the revenue driving, league games is the reason why you're seeing Thursday night football games. I don't think that's in the best interest of player safety. So I think the league, in a lot of respects, talks out of both sides of their mouth with that.
They always seem to. All right, that is Sports Illustrated's Mike McDaniel, as well as a neurologist, Dr. Chad Demang. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us.
And still ahead this morning, the holidays around the corner.